Hello everyone, I am Shalini, Assistant Professor of English, St. Joseph's College of Arts and Science, Autonomous. Today we are going to see the poem Australia, written by A.D.Hope. A.D.Hope was an Australian poet and essayist known for his satirical slant. He was also a critic, teacher, and an academic. He was referred to an American journal as the 20th century's greatest 18th century poet. In the poem Australia, A.D.Hope questions the idea that Australia is civilized. The poem has 7 stanzas. In the first 5 stanzas, the poet talks about Australia. He describes how it is both a new and old country. In the last 2 stanzas, he talks about the wilderness of Australia. Now let us see the poem lines. A nation of trees, drab green and desolate grey. In the field uniform of modern wars, darkens her hills, those endless, outstretched paths of sphinx demolished or stone lion worn away. In these lines, the poet describes Australia as a nation of trees, drab green and desolate grey, that darkens her hills. He sees Australia as a country that is bleak and almost colourless and dull. This very much resembles the uniform of modern wars, where everything is in a shade of grey and green. The poet likens the country to a sphinx. The sphinx was a figure from Egyptian myths which possessed the body of a lion and head of a man. This comparison could be directly related to the author's vision of Australia. Next stanza, they call her young country, but they lie. She is the last of lands, the emptiest, a woman beyond her change of life, a breast still tender but within the womb is dry. Here the poet suggests that Australia's realm of intelligence and power have now been worn away, which suggests that Australia used to be better than it is now. He believes that Australia is a country that is old. People may call Australia as a young country, but they lie. Australia to him is the last of lands, the emptiest, a woman beyond her change of life, a breast still tender, but within the womb is dry. Australia may be considered as a young by the world's standards, but it is empty within. It has only external beauty, but no inner beauty. The next stanza, without songs, architecture, history, the emotions and superstitions of younger lands, her rivers of water drown among inland stands, the river of her immense stupidity. In this stanza, Australia to him is devoid of culture, which is without songs, architecture and history. He sees Australia as being a country that has neither historical background nor culture to speak of. He believes that it has the capabilities to do so. However, the ideas are drowned among island sands. Next stanza, floods her monotonous tribes from Cairns to Perth. In them, at last the ultimate men arrive, whose boast is not, we live but we survive, a type who will inhabit the dying earth. Here Australia is portrayed as a country that is nothing at all, where there are monotonous tribes from Cairns to Perth. The 5 main cities are compared to 5 teeming zones. The people who come to live in Australia do not boast of living, but rather merely surviving. And her 5 cities, like 5 teeming zones, each drains her, a vast parasite robber state, where second-hand Europeans pullulate timidly on the edge of alien shores. The 5 cities are named as parasites as they are occupied by Europeans who resided along the shores and looted its wealth. The land is polluted and lacks resources since European invasion. The land has almost lost its endemicity. In the next stanza, yet there are some like me turn gladly home from the lush jungle of modern thought to find the Arabian desert of the human mind, hoping if still from the deserts the prophets come. In this stanza, the author expresses his own feelings towards the land. Though it lacks resources, he wants men to find the actual modernity and realize their stage in developmental phase. He also hopes for the prophets to arrive to enlighten the people. Such savage and scarlet as no green hills dare springs in that waste, some spirit which escapes the learned doubt, the chattered of cultured apes, which is civilized over there. Last stanza, the author wants the people to move towards modernity and development. He also insists to believe that anything can spirit out and change. He wants the people to stop believing that only chatting with one another is their civilization. Themes of the poem: cultural barrenness. Hope portrays Australia as a drab and bare land in both the literal and figurative sense. He suggests that Australia lacks the cultural richness of older civilizations, calling it a nation of trees and describing its isolation from the world's discovered era. Spiritual desolation. The poem critiques Australia's spiritual emptiness, comparing the land to a savage place that has not yet developed a deep cultural or intellectual heritage. A.D.Hope sees it as a young nation still grappling with its identity and purpose. Harshness of the landscape. The Australian landscape is depicted as unforgiving and stark, reflecting the harsh conditions of the land. A.D.Hope uses imagery such as emptiness, stony deserts, and dead heart to emphasize the land's hostility. Hope for renewal. Despite the bleak tone, Hope hints at the potential for growth and change. He suggests that from this desert, Australia has the possibility of nurturing a new, vibrant culture, even comparing its potential to a phoenix rising from the ashes. National identity. The poem explores Australia's identity as a young nation, still forming its cultural and intellectual foundations. Hope's criticism suggests a tension between the country's present and future, and between its physical vastness and its underdeveloped spirit. Thank you.